Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. In this video, we will talk about break and continue statements in Java. So let's first start with the break statement. The break statement is used to terminate a loop permanently. It can be for loop, enhanced for loop, while loop or do while loop. When the break statement is executed, the control exits the loop immediately, skipping any remaining iterations. So, in simple language, if I will explain, so break is like saying stop the loop right now and get out of it. It is used when you don't want to continue the loop anymore, even if it has not finished all its cycles. So, it can be used to exit a loop when a certain condition is met. It is often used with if conditions inside a loop. Let's see how we can use this break statement. Let me open IntelliJ IDE. Here I have created one Java file inside the src folder with the name break continue statement.java, and inside this file I have created one class with the same name as the file name, and inside the class I have put a main method, and inside this main method we would be putting our code. So let me first create a loop, and then we will see how we can use the break statement to terminate that particular loop. So here I will take the example of for loop to print the value from 1 to 10. So to create the for loop, we need to provide for parenthesis int I equals to 1 semicolon I is less than equals to 10, as we want to print numbers from 1 to 10 semicolon, then I plus plus to increase the value of I. And then we need to put opening and closing curly braces after parenthesis, where we would be providing the code for the for loop. Now here, as we want to print the numbers, so we will use this system.out.println, and inside it let's put I. So now what will happen if I execute the script? It will print the number from 1 to 10. So let me run the script. Here also, beside these numbers, we can click onto the run button, and from here we can select the class name with the main method. So now value got printed from 1 to 10. Now for an example, I have a condition that as soon as value of I is equals to 5, we want to terminate this particular loop, which means we want to stop the loop and come out of it. So to implement that, I will first have to check the condition, for which we need to use this if statement, then parenthesis, and inside it we will check that I equals to compare it, which is used for comparison. Then here we will put the value. So if I equals to 5, we want to use the break statement. So opening and closing of curly braces, and inside it we would be putting break statement. So break semicolon. So now what will happen? The code will get executed. The value of I would be 1 initially, and it will print that particular value, and value will keep incrementing by 1. And as soon as the value of I reaches to 5, this particular condition would be true, which is I equals to 5, which is written with this if statement. So if this condition is true, this code inside the if loop will get executed, and here we have put the break statement, which will terminate the loop, and we would be able to see numbers from 1 to 4, because as soon as 5 came, it terminated the loop, which is our for loop. Let me start the execution and see only values from 1 to 4 got printed. As soon as 5 came, it break out of this for loop, and it was not able to execute the further code as well as the further iteration. And similarly, we can use this break statement with the while loop and do while loop. Let me just quickly give the example for the while loop also, and as the assignment you can try it with the do while loop. Let me know into the comment section below that how you tried the do while loop. So for now, let's use this while loop. So first we need to initialize one variable with the value 1. I will take the same example to print the value from 1 to 10. Let me comment out this for loop where we have used the break statement. Then we need to put the while loop. For that, here we need to write while, and then within the parenthesis we need to provide the condition, as we are taking the same example to print the value from 1 to 10. So here I will put j is less than equals to 10, this same condition, and then we need to put opening and closing of curly braces for while loop, and at the end of this while loop we want to increment the value of j by 1, so j plus plus semicolon. So now our basic while loop is ready, and here we want to print the value from I to 10. So using this system.out.println, and here putting the value of j to get printed. And if I execute the script, it will print the numbers from 1 to 10 as expected. Now I will put the break to break the loop or to terminate the loop once value of I reaches to 5. So if parenthesis, inside the parenthesis we are going to check this j double equals to 5, and then now within the opening and closing of curly braces for the if condition we are going to put the break statement. Now the same thing will happen like the for loop, where it will take the value of I as 1, then we'll check the condition and will print this value of j, and again will increase the value of j to the 1, and as soon as we reaches the value of j equals to 5, so it will come inside this while loop. Then it will check this particular condition that j equals to 5, which is true, which is written with the if condition, and the flow will come to this particular break, and then it will terminate the loop, and it will not even print the value of 5. Why? Because here only we are breaking the loop. Now let me execute the script, and we should be able to see this 1 to 4 numbers. And as I told, you can try it with the do while loop also. The syntax would be same, that you would be first writing the condition, and if that particular condition is true, you would be putting break inside that particular condition, which will terminate your loop. Now let me comment out this also for your further reference. Now coming on to the continue statement. The continue statement is used to skip the current iteration of a loop and move to the next iteration. It doesn't terminate the loop but prevents the execution of the rest of the code in the current situation. So in simple language, if we use continue, it is saying that skip this turn and go to the next one. It is used when you want to skip just one part of the loop but keep the loop going. So we are going to use this continue statement to skip the specific iteration based on the condition. This also get used with the if condition inside the loop. Let's see how we can use this continue statement. Let me open this IntelliJ IDE, and here again I will create one for loop rather than copy pasting. So for parenthesis int k equals to 1 semicolon, k is less than equals to 10 semicolon, k plus plus, and after parenthesis we need to put curly braces, so opening and closing of curly braces, and here let's print the value from 1 to 10. For that we need to use this system.out.println, and here we want to print this value of k. So this is basic for loop which will print the value from 1 to 10 like this. Now let's see how we can use this continue statement. So again we are taking the same example. For now it is printing values from 1 to 10, but we are going to put a condition where k is equals to 5, and then opening and closing of curly braces. And here previously we used this break statement to terminate the loop, but now we are going to use this continue statement, which will skip the current iteration, which means it is not going to execute further lines for this iteration where k equals to 5, and as soon as it comes to this continue, it will skip all other code after that, and again it will increase the value of k to 6, and then it will check this particular condition, and now this if condition is going to be false, so that's why it will print the further numbers till the loop reaches to the 10. Let me start the execution, where what will happen once this continue will come for k equals to 5, it is not going to print this 5. Let's click on this run button. So we would be able to see numbers from 1 to 10, where 5 will get skipped because of this condition with the continue statement. And now let's use the while loop with the continue statement. Let me comment out this for loop with the continue statement, and here I will create one while loop also. So we'll create one variable int x equals to 1 while parenthesis, and the condition would be x is less than equals to 10, and then opening and closing of curly braces, and inside it at the end we are going to put x plus plus to increment the value, and don't forget to put this semicolon at the end of the each code. Now let's print the value. So as out, which is shortcut to type this system.out.println, and here I will print the value of x, and if we execute this script again, it will give us numbers from 1 to 10. Now let's use the continue statement here. So again we will take the same example where we want to skip the iteration if the value is equals to 5. So we'll put this if parenthesis x equals to 5. In this case we want to execute the continue statement, but here for the while and do while loop there is one catch, that we will have to increment the variable's value before the continue statement. And why so? Because let's assume this x plus plus is not here. So first, once the value of x is initialized with the 1, it will come to this particular condition where 1 is less than equals to 10, and inside this while loop this condition would be false because 1 is not equals to 5, and it will come to this line where it will print the value. Initially it is 1, so it will print the 1, and then it will increment the value. But what we have done, we have put continue statement inside the if condition where we are checking that x double equals to 5, and as soon as the value comes to 5, it will come inside this if condition and will execute this continue, and still the value of x is 5, and it will go to the next iteration, and again the value would be 5, and the same step will keep on repeating because these two lines of code is not getting executed. So value of x will get stuck with the value 5, and we will stuck inside the infinite loop. So now what we will do, we will increment the value of x within the if condition where our continue statement is there, and here we need to provide x plus plus. Now what will happen, as soon as the value reaches to 5, it will come inside this if condition, and it will first increment the value to 6, and then will execute the continue statement. And now this time we have 6 inside the x, which is true condition, and again this loop will get executed. But now as 6 is not equals to 5, it will not go inside this if condition where it will not execute this continue, and for the value 6 it will print that particular value, and then it will increment this value. Now let me again start the execution, and now our values got printed, but here if you will observe, after 4 we have directly the number 6 and 5 is not here. And similarly you can use this continue with the do while loop, where you will have to provide the condition, and if that condition is true it will execute the continue statement. But in case of continue, for the while and do while loop, we will have to increment the value of variable by 1 and then execute the continue statement to skip the current iteration of the loop. So as the assignment, again try the do while statement with the continue statement. So with the do while loop, the catch is that inside the condition we will have to increment the value also for the while and do while loop, and for this for loop there is no increment required, because here every time value will get modified, which will get increased by 1. And let me discuss some of the interview questions. So here one condition can be regarding the definition of break and continue statement. So you can explain that break is used to terminate the loop for the specific condition, and continue is used to skip the current iteration of the loop for the certain condition. There may be one more question which can come into picture, that what are all the differences between the break and continue statements. So one we just discussed, that break terminates the loop but continue skips the current iteration of the loop. Second difference is that break exits the loop immediately but continue proceeds to the next iteration. And you should be aware about this syntax, that how we need to use this break as well as continue statements. And for the while and do while loop, if we are using continue statement, in that case we will have to increment the value before continue statement. I will conclude this video here, but before we wrap up, let me give you a quick recap. So here we saw that the break statement is used to terminate a loop permanently, and the continue statement is used to skip the current iteration of a loop and move to the next iteration. And here is the syntax. We can simply use break and continue statement into our loops. It can be for loop, while loop, and do while loop. We need to simply provide the condition where we want to execute the break statement and the continue statement. Here I have given the example of for loop and while loop, and the same thing can be done for the do while loop for break and continue statements. And that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Java tutorials playlist, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.